All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we look back at the Niners' first-round draft choice. Mykel Williams, the defensive end, taken out of Georgia with the 11th pick overall. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. And we're also brought to you by our good friends at Mancini's. Are you looking to upgrade your sleep? Well, now is the perfect time. Our friends at Mancini Sleep World are kicking off their spring clearance sale. It goes from March 25th and ends on April the 28th. So you don't want to miss these new deals. Up to 50% off select mattresses, 2 free pillows with any Tempur-Pedic mattress purchase, plus an extra 10% off when you use our exclusive code KRUG10. Mancini's now offers a 365-night comfort guarantee. They give you a full year to decide if the mattress is the perfect fit for you or not. On top of that, they also provide free next-day delivery and a best price guarantee, so you can shop with total confidence. And the spring clearance sale goes from March 25th through April 28th. So don't wait. Click the link in the description to shop now and experience better sleep with Mancini Sleep World. Once again, click inside the description and make sure you use the code KRUG10 to get 10% off. Once again, use that code inside the description. Click on it and type in KRUG10 to get 10% off at Mancini's, any of Mancini's locations, or online at sleepworld.com. All right. The Niners took Mykel Williams, and we had a chance to kind of go through the whole thing. Listen to him, listen to Shanahan, listen to Lynch, and just kind of hear the breakdown of how the 49ers view Mykel Williams. Now, there's a couple interesting things on Mykel Williams. First, let's take a look at some of the numbers that Kev has put together that are pretty good. You know, if you look at the PFF run defense grades for edge rushers drafted in the first round, you had Abdul Carter 57th overall. You had James Pierce 12th overall. You had Mykel Williams 8th overall, and Shamar Stewart 4th. So, I mean, he was one of the better run defender edge rushers in this draft class. So, I mean, Stewart had better numbers against the run, but he had good numbers against the run. So that's obviously a strength, clearly a strength. Then if you looked at the different defensive alignments by snaps and where he's played, you can see that Georgia moved this guy all over the place, and the Niners are probably going to do the same thing. He had 24 snaps lined up in the B gap. He had 151 snaps lined up in the C gap, and he had 222 snaps lined up wide. And in the Niner defense, he's going to be lined up wide in that wide 9 really 100% of the time. So that's something to look for sure. I thought pass rush win rate and true pass sets for edge rushers drafted in the first round would be an interesting number to look at. Abdul Carter was 3rd at 35.1%. James Pierce was 8th at 29.8%. Shamar Stewart was 33rd at 21.9%. And Mykel Williams was 118th at 10.5%. So he's got to develop a more varied rush plan. He's got to work on some moves. He's a strong-bodied run defender who doesn't have a lot of moves right now. And right now is his pass rush win rate in true pass sets is 118th in the nation. So that's not good. So he needs to get better as a pass rusher. I've been talking about Williams a lot, and people who know me know I'm not a huge fan of the pick. Why? Because there's low-end tackle production, and the stats don't match the traits, and that's kind of reality. This year, he's a great athlete. 21 tackles this year, 5 sacks, but 21 tackles, that's 10 less than Shamar Stewart, who people thought had no production. So if you're going to argue that Shamar Stewart had no production with 31 tackles, then what is a guy with 21 tackles? But, this is a big-bodied guy, 5-star high school recruit, 10.25-inch hands. This is a guy who really is strong against the run. He's 9th percentile in pass rush grade according to PFF. but he's got an 83 and 7/8 wingspan. He's only 44th percentile in the 40. So he wasn't like he had a great 40 time. He was 44th percentile at 6'5", 267 pounds. He's only 20, but he's a guy who's versatile. He's healthy. He's got a strong body and a great attitude, and they're going to have to coach him up. He doesn't have a lot of moves. He hasn't produced tons of pass rush at Georgia, but he's very strong. He's a legitimate 3-down starter. He's not one of these guys who's 245 pounds and really has to be brought on the field on just third downs. No, he's a 3-down. He can play the run on first and second down, and then he can play the pass on third down. Now, right now, I think his strength is probably playing the run on first and second down, and his weakness is probably rushing the passer on third down. He a lot of times turns a lot of his stuff into just straight power, so it becomes more of a power. He's a kind of a power rusher. But he's got to work on some moves, and if they can coach him up and give him some moves and work on his technique, I think they're going to have a nice player because this guy is the person you want. He's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He's a versatile player. He can play inside. He can play outside. The Niners love to run twists and stunts and really move guys and play games up front. And this guy's expert at that. You can line him up inside at the defensive tackle spot. In like a third down, passing down, all defensive end type alignment, which is something Chris Kacerek loves to do. So I think in a lot of ways he's a good fit. They fell in love with the guy. They fell in love with some of the traits. And now they got to coach him up. He's super athletic. He's super young. He's got a great frame. He's healthy for the most part. And now it's a matter of, can you coach him up? Can you help him develop some moves and some counters and make him much more of a technician and much more of the veteran defensive lineman. What separates a veteran from a young guy? It's the technique. Young defensive tackles, young defensive ends don't have a lot of technique. Older defensive ends and older defensive tackles usually have tremendous technique. And that's what he needs to work on. He needs to work on the nuances of the game, but a lot of talent, great attitude, good program, big time, big physical body. And let's see what they can coach him into. He gives them a strong run defender opposite Nick Bosa on first and second down. And as John Lynch said, they're not done drafting defensive linemen. I would guess the over-under on Niner defensive linemen taken in this draft will be like 5.5. I mean, they're going to take a lot of defensive linemen. They need them. And they get a talented young edge rusher who's got a lot of talent and a lot of ability. And now we'll see if they can kind of coach him up on the nuances of pass rush moves and counters and that kind of thing. And that's going to be up to Robert Saleh and Chris Kacerek. It sounds like Robert Saleh and Chris Kacerek really loved this guy. They were thrilled to get him. Lynch tried to trade up to get him, and they were unable to trade up, but they get him at 11, and now we'll see what they do on day 2 and day 3 to try to build up this roster and get themselves back into the mix as a Super Bowl contender out of the NFC. All right, that does it for the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Mancini's for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.